Welcome everybody. Welcome to this session with Shawn Kay of EasyBuild. It's 10:30 now, so I think I'll just wait a little while just to see whether some more people are going to join us. There are people joining all the time, as you can see on your screens. So welcome to those people who've just joined. This is a short session with Shawn Kay of EasyBuild, the coach builder. So I think it's 10:30 now, so I will pass the microphone, as it were, on to Shawn to introduce himself.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for dropping in. A new format for us, I think, something that I haven't done live before, so you'll have to forgive me if we go we go astray, or indeed if my enormous dog, who's sat just opposite, starts barking at the postman. I do apologise in advance. He tends to interrupt lots of work meetings that we do on Skype these days. So yeah, bear with us. Not done it before, but we'll give it our best shot. So as James says, if anybody's got any questions, there's a little button you can press to raise your hand, like we used to do in school, or you can just shout out. So perhaps I'll start off by sharing my screen. If I can make it happen again, I'd like to show you all the new Pullman coaches that we're doing. These are now in production. It's our release for this year, and we've done well. Our intention is to do all 5 variants of the Mark 1 Pullman, including the Hadrian bar, should there be sufficient demand for it. So far, we've done the Parlour Second, as you can see here, in 2 liveries, the beautiful original livery and that very strange reverse blue and grey livery that they did on the Pullmans. So we've done the Parlour Second. We've actually now done the Parlour First. The Parlour First is now available, and 1 or 2 customers have already taken delivery. And the Kitchen First and Kitchen Second is next on the list. Hopefully we'll get those out possibly this month, certainly by Easter. So yeah, our new Pullman kits. We're very, very proud of these. We've put a lot of time and effort into it, and it's been no mean feat, of course, with the pandemic. I know I see a lot of people, probably some of you at shows, 1 or 2 I know personally, and yeah, the pandemic has really knocked all the production that we do. Not sure that I can stop sharing that at the moment. But you might have to help me out there, James.
Were you sharing at the time?
I think I was sharing. Do shout out if you can't see the Pullman pictures that I think you can see.
That's it. Have a review. Yeah, go.
Yep, there we go. That's back again, is it? Yeah.
No, that's not Shawn.
Ah. Hang on. No. Technology. No, not sure what you are getting now.
We're just getting the gallery view at the moment, Shawn. We're not seeing anything.
Ah, right. There wasn't a button to say stop sharing like there was last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just try clicking on the share screen at the bottom. That's funny. We had it working nicely before.
Well, yes, apologies everybody. Technology's getting the better of us here. No, I've got everything apart from stop sharing. I've got a. Oh dear. No, it's asking me if I want to share.
Say yes, I would presume.
Well,
Oh, that's it. You've got it.
yes. There we go. There we
Hooray.
go. Yeah. So if I stop sharing the pictures, you get my ugly mug again. Yes.
Indeed.
So as I was saying, all the Pullmans coming. The kitchens coming on very nicely. The limiting factor, of course, is the production of the interiors at the minute. I've already produced all the sides, the roofs and the floor remain the same, of course. But the limiting factor is how quickly Richard in Derbyshire can produce the different interiors for us. As I was saying, the pandemic it's knocked all producers for the last year. I mean, there was so much that we were underway with Easy Build. But of course, yeah, the dreaded pandemic. We are working on the 104 DMU. It's something that I seem to be saying to people year in, year out. Yes, we're working on the 104. Yes, we're trying to get it done. We were literally at the point where we were going to go and measure 104 unit and a 110 unit actually at Bury, East Lancashire Railway. When of course lockdown 1 kicked in, and that stopped us dead. My computer says I must plug in. Bear with me, gentlemen.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, there we are. We have electricity, thank God. So yeah, we were due to go to Bury and start measuring the 104. Lockdown 1 stopped us dead in our tracks. We were due to go back last October and work with restrictions set by the railway themselves. And unfortunately, we just weren't allowed to mix with people and get back in there, which took us up to Christmas, and then of course lockdown 2. In the meantime, I've been sending people drawings, photocopied drawings up to Bury of the 104, and asking them to fill in measurements for me when they're allowed access themselves. So again, huge delays, but we are making some progress. So that's where we are with the sort of latest developments. As always, it's a matter of time and monkeys. We haven't got enough of each, and these days, every 5 minutes it seems to be Friday. Yeah. Have we got any questions at all, James?
not on chat, we haven't. Does anybody want to raise their hand and ask a question?
It's a bit like meetings at work. So it's quite often a stunned silence.
Why don't you share your website and take us through some of the products, Shawn?
Yeah, absolutely, we can do. I'm sure. Let's see. Bear with me. Share my screen. That's the way to do it, isn't it? Click that again. There we go. Okay. Let's have a look there.
We're not yet, Shawn.
Nothing yet.
No. There you go.
Right. So that's the just for anybody that missed it the first time round. So that should be the Pullman stock. And again, I'll just scroll through that for you. as I said, very pleased with this kit. It was a departure from what we normally do. Those of you that have had our kits before, you'll be quite used to the way that it constructs with the one-piece floor, sides and roof and the moulded end. In order to get this Pullman right, we had to depart from that and produce a separate little vestibule end with the inset flat door. So a little departure from what we normally do, and we also people might not be aware, but the Pullman coach has a different shaped roof at the end. The roof is tapered at the end, and again, we've managed to introduce that taper. Most of you will know that the kits are produced with extrusion, being the normal production method. So we have when we buy our extrusion, it comes as a job lot that totals 1,000 meters, and it comes in 3-meter lengths, and we have to machine it to what we need. With the tapered roof, that poses a bit of a problem, but we managed to we machine part of the taper for you and invite the customer to just round off the corners themselves. We were a little bit worried that people might struggle with this area in the corner I'm highlighting, but so far so good. The feedback from the people that have had the kits so far said it's not presented them with a problem. So we're quite pleased that we've been able to achieve that little bit of detail that's sometimes missing in other models. For those of you that don't know, I drive on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, and luckily the North Yorkshire Moors have got a Pullman dining train, and that's where we got a lot of the information from. Unfortunately, we quickly learned that in preservation, they don't tend to have a pristine example of the vehicle, and it's quite a shock to me to find out that an awful lot of stuff has been removed from the Pullman vehicles at the North Yorkshire Moors, certainly all the pressure ventilation equipment. So that proved a bit of a challenge, getting all that stuff sorted out.
Sure.
But we got there in the end.
Sure.
James, yes.
We have a question from Andy. He says, "What about a Transpennine Class 124?"
Right. Yes. We did start working on producing the Transpennine unit. I can't remember whether it was a 124. Is the 124 the one with the wraparound windows? If so, yes, we started work on it. What we did there was we got a guy to do us a 3D model and a very nice 3D print of the front. And my intention with that was to then put it in a rubber mold and start casting resin fronts off it. Unfortunately, when it arrived, it was his interpretation of photographs that I'd sent him, and there was a lot of subtle inaccuracies and bits that were missing. So whilst on the face of it, it looked like a Transpennine front end, it wasn't anywhere near accurate enough. The radiuses in the corners of the windows, things like that, the bit above the 3 driving windows that sticks out like a sun visor, if you will, that was just missing. And again, it was one of those things that we'd started doing. We were starting to feed back to people, what changes we wanted, and so on and so on. And again, caught up with the dreaded pandemic. So again, that's another project that's on hold until we can clear the backlog of stuff that we have got. Again, as many of you know, it's me and Richard Pogson. Richard Pogson is a professional model maker up in Derbyshire. We've been teamed up doing easy build bits and pieces now ever since I started 21 years ago. So when it comes to doing this stuff, we're basically a two-man band. I also have a day job. So R&D time is precious, to say the least. And again, I keep saying the word pandemic, but in a pandemic, also very demanding. I've also just taken delivery, would you believe, of a real Mark One coach that now sits in my garden. Fortunate enough to have a decent garden, and I bought a real Mark One coach. Slightly mad, but I thought, as a purveyor of Mark One coaches, why not have a real one in the garden? Now that it's turned up, it's a bit of whilst it's impressive, make no mistake, very impressive, it's also absolutely enormous. But I will be renovating it. I've already started with bits and pieces, but yeah, so Easy Build has now gone full scale. But yeah, so TransPennine unit, yes, we made a start. Yes, it's something that we're looking to do. But I would be lying if I said I am going to produce that in the next 12 months, judging by what's happened so far and the struggle we had to get these Pullmans out. I think it's a little while away. And just as an aside, we've done the Pullmans. We've also finished the development of the Kartik 4 unit. For those of you that don't know what a Kartik 4 is, that's a car transporting unit made of 4 vehicles, articulated, joined in the intermediate vehicles. Richard's done a very, very nice job of producing that. We're just moving with that now into the production stage. But again, I mean, some of you may be in the business. If that's the case, you'll understand that the ex-brass people have been absolutely up against it. Whilst we've been in lockdown and things, demand for kits and bits and pieces has gone through the roof. But unfortunately, the etchers closed shop, as did many firms, for quite a while, and that's caused us some huge problems with supply, of course. And product development has suffered because of the etchers being closed as well. That's what's actually delaying the Kartik 4 project. Other things we've got in the pipeline, TPO coaches. We've done these historically for people that have really asked for assistance when they've been scratch building TPOs. We've produced sides, roofs, floors, bits and pieces on an ad hoc basis, if you like. We do this quite a lot. I have a lot of customers that will come to me and say, I'm doing this, that, or the other. The latest one is a 4TC. And we supply as much as we can. Of course, the thing that we don't supply is instructions on how to build a 4TC. It's really an aid to scratch building that we do for people. We don't advertise it. It's just something that we've been asked to do historically, and we're still doing it. But moving on from the can you help me build TPO units, we're actually looking at producing these as full-on kits. So we've developed most of the vehicles. What we haven't got round to yet is producing the molds for the intricate parts, such as the inset doors and net arrangements for the collection vehicles, things like that. But it is coming, albeit slowly, I'm afraid. Any more questions?
No more questions on chat at the moment, Shawn.
Okay, let's try and find my gallery.
Yeah, good.
So, Easy Build website is available for everybody. This is what it looks like. Again, developed by Richard for me. He's a whiz. I think, unfortunately, all the all the video clips are sat where the buttons are, so I can't see the buttons properly. But yeah. So the website is designed obviously to show off our products and the range. There to make any announcements, of course. But we also put the over here the information and instructions. If it'll load up. I think it's on the go slow at the minute, probably because of the video that we're running as well. But yeah, info and instructions. So all our instructions are there to download. Everything from our DMUs to coaches to the Pullmans. What we can't get on the website is all the photographs that we send out with the kits. So when you buy an Easy Build kit, what you should receive in the box is not just the kit, but you should receive a CD-ROM as well that contains the photo libraries. Basically, it contains everything that you can see on the website, but also the additional photos that help build. Being absent-minded as I am, sometimes I send out kits and forget to put the CDs in, and about halfway through the build, I'll get a message from a customer saying, "I'm struggling with this bit. A photo would help." And my immediate reply is always, "Have a look at your CD." Their reply being, "What CD?" The penny drops. I have to send a CD.
A couple of
James?
questions, Shawn. One question from Will Stewart. Any chance you might produce some Southern EMU kits in the future?
I get asked this periodically, and again, the answer really, if I'd refer the gentleman back to my, as the politicians say, I refer the honourable gentleman back to my previous statement. Southern Region EMUs, it's not something that we've jumped into as full production. I think the market is a little bit limited to justify the investment that we have to put in when we go and develop a full new kit. But we are able to help people produce their own EMU. I'm thinking of Ian Blackburn, for example. He was very much into EMUs, and he bought an awful lot off us to modify himself. And of course, we are able to cut bespoke sides for people. So to answer the question, I could, if you want to do an EMU, if you supply me with the information, I can probably help you produce a majority of it. I think we might struggle a little bit with the bogies. If memory serves me, the power bogies on an EMU are not something. Well, they're like nothing else, really. I think there would have to be a bit of scratch building involved with an EMU power bogie and so on. But as I say, the latest one on my desk is a gentleman looking for a 4TC, and again, we'll supply him with as much as we can. When it comes to the ends, he's I have a feeling he's actually bought somebody else's ends. Other than that, it's scratch building. But if you want an EMU, I'm pretty sure we can get you most of the way to an EMU. Does that answer the question?
It sounds good to me. We have another question from Raymond Kuehl. He asks, how are bogies fitted to coaches to prevent lopsided running?
Right, so our bogies, I'm probably going to get lost here if I try if I try going through the website looking for pictures. Our bogies are designed with a center, uh, perhaps you'd call it a gimbal, swivel plate. So they're wide enough and flat enough to allow the coach to sit flat on top of the bogey. We don't just rely on a nut and a bolt. It's got that flat area of the swivel that, of course, as the name would suggest, also allows the bogey to swivel and tilt as well. Certainly, when you build any of our coaches, you shouldn't have a tilt problem. They all sit flat, and in the kits, of course, we supply an aluminium top hat threaded washer that fits into the floor of the coach, and that's the bit that you bolt the bogey to on the underside of the coach. So again, it's a flat surface to a flat surface. Hopefully that helps.
I have a question. How similar is are the sections of a bullied coach to a Mark One? Are the sides very similar and the roof very similar?
Yeah, I mean, again, when Mark One coaches were designed, they were based partly on Bulleid's coach. The profile of the coach is very similar indeed. The big difference is the windows, the shape and the size of the windows, and the bogies, of course. And again, we've been asked previously, any chance of doing bullied coaches? And the thing that literally stopped us dead in our tracks on doing the bullied coaches is the Southern Region bogies. And again, dare I say, the size of the market. I mean, to produce a new bogey typically takes 150 hours of tool room time. I'm fortunate that it's my tool room, so I'm not paying 35 to 50 pounds an hour for somebody else's tool making. That would make it absolutely cost prohibitive. The limiting factor for me is actually the number of hours in a tool room to produce a bogey. I haven't produced a new bogey for a long time. The last one was the bogey for the 101 DMU that we did, and that came about because I naively thought all DMUs ran on the same bogies, and to my shock horror, um, one of our customers, as we were developing the 101, one of our customers came up to the stand at Telford and said, "Oh, and you'll be putting it on the correct bogies, of course." And yeah, that was a bit of a surprise because then I had to go and actually take a look at the 101 we had on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway, and yeah, there it is, different bogies. And that was the last one I produced, and since then I've not been in a rush to get back in the tool room, and that is the limiting factor for bullied coaches, James.
No, fair enough. I mean, the bogies are available elsewhere.
Hmm.
I mean, would it be possible to to supply sides, for example, sides and roof, and possibly ends? Would that work?
Yeah, I think they're very similar. We could certainly have a look at it.
That'll be the dog then.
Yep, do apologise. I think the postman is wandering around out there, and yes.
Time
So
for roasting.
generally he's very good, but yeah, now and again he does go a bit berserk. Bullied coaches, it is something we could have a look at. I haven't got any drawings, James. If you're interested and want to send me a drawing, I'll certainly give it a look at and see where we can go. I wouldn't have thought it would be too difficult to do on account of the enormous similarities between the Mark One and the Bullied.
Okay, thank you. I'll give that some thought. We are now coming up to 11 o'clock. Are there any further questions? It's a half-hour session today with Shawn.
Yes, I am back on at 4:30, I think is
4 o'clock,
4 o'clock.
I
Very good.
believe.
Be good if I'm not late to my own session.
Hmm,
4 o'clock, I'll
good.
be back.
Would be handy. So if there are any further questions from the audience, please pop back this afternoon and we can continue with Shawn. In the meantime, thank you very much indeed for joining us today, and thank you very much to Shawn for showing us and his products and talking about them. Shawn, anything you'd like to say?
Well, thank you for dropping in, guys. As I say, back at 4 o'clock if you've got any other burning questions. Apologies for the being fiddly with the technology.
You'll
Yeah,
have it right by this afternoon.
it's a learning curve, a steep learning curve.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and goodbye, everyone.